Hi, and welcome to Lamplighter Podcast. My name is Rebecca, and I have an exciting story for you today. Come and listen while I light the way to your imagination. Hi, kids! Today is a very, very exciting day. Do you want to know why? Well, I have a special friend, and today is his birthday. His name is Momo McSquirrel, and believe it or not, he's a talking squirrel. Can you guys help me to wish him a happy birthday? Here he comes now.
Hi, guys! Guess what today is?
Actually, Momo, I already told them.
It's my birthday! And I'm so happy! Do you know what the best part of my birthday is?
Let me guess. Is it presents?
It's presents! I just love presents. I love opening them and seeing what's inside and eating them.
Eating them? You eat your presents, Momo?
Of course! Because every year I get the same presents. Nuts! Oh, it's just the best.
Well, I'm very happy for you, Momo. And you know what? I also have a present for you today.
You do? Is it a nut?
No, but I think you'll still like it. It's a story. And this story has a birthday in it.
Oh, I just love stories. They're almost as tasty as acorns.
Well, I'm glad. Why don't you sit back, relax, and I'll tell you a story about a boy who gets a very surprising present for his birthday. Once there lived a boy who wanted a pet dog more than anything else in the world. He dreamed of how much fun it would be to train a dog, to walk a dog, and to take him on fun adventures around the neighborhood. But there was a problem. Every time he asked his parents if he could get a dog, they would say, "I'm sorry, Jaden, but we just can't have a dog right now." One day, right before Jaden's birthday, his mom and dad said they had a surprise for him. They all got into the car and drove to a big building where Jaden read the words, "Pet store." Pet store? Pet store? Am I getting a pet? Jaden couldn't believe it. Had his parents decided to get him a dog for his birthday? "We're still not ready for a dog, but we decided that you can get whatever small pet you want here." At first, Jaden felt disappointed while his parents said this, but he knew that they were just trying to make him happy. Plus, he was getting a little excited about what kind of small pets he would see inside. As he and his parents walked around the pet store, he looked at mice, guinea pigs, birds, and snakes. None of them seemed as exciting as a dog. Then he noticed something in the corner of the shop. It was a strange, glowing light. As he got closer, he saw that it was a large fish tank full of colorful rocks and plants. And of course, there were dozens of beautifully colored fish swimming all around, their shimmering bodies catching the light as they moved. He found himself mesmerized at the beautiful world inside the tank. Then, as he was watching all the fish swim around, he suddenly noticed a small fish floating close by. Compared to all the other fish, this little guy was very plain. He was all gray, and just the tips of his tail fin were a deep purple color. Jaden could tell that nobody would pick this fish because he was not very attractive, but there was just something about him that Jaden liked. He looked smarter than the other fish. And as he was thinking this, the little gray fish swam slowly up to Jaden and looked just as if he was staring right at him. "Hey, Jaden," his father interrupted from across the store. "There's a cool lizard over here. Want to see?" "No, thanks. I think I know what I want." His mom and dad walked over, and when they saw the gray fish, they looked surprised. "Are you sure you want that one, Jaden?" Jaden was looking at his little fish, who seemed to be looking right back, and knew that this was what he wanted. There was just something about this fish that he liked. "I'm going to name him Fishy Pants," he said. "See, the purple tip of his tail looks kind of like pants." So Fishy Pants came to his new home that day. They filled a small round tank with water and placed it in Jaden's room. "Look, he likes his new home," Jaden said as they watched Fishy Pants swim happily around his new home. "Happy birthday, buddy," his mom said as they walked out of the room. "You may not be able to teach that fish how to sit and fetch like a dog, but he's still a pretty cool little guy." His parents left, and Jaden watched Fishy Pants for a while, imagining what it would be like to train a fish to do cool tricks. Then he wondered, why couldn't he train him? Maybe he could just start with something simple. He looked to make sure his parents weren't listening, then said, "Fishy Pants, jump!" The fish turned around and looked at him, but then kept swimming. Jaden was thinking, when you train a dog, you have to show them what you want them to do. Maybe Fishy Pants just needs to see what the word jump means. So Jaden went to the middle of his room and said, "Fishy Pants, jump!" Then he jumped up to show him what it meant. Once again, Fishy Pants turned around and looked at him. Jaden jumped up again to make sure he saw it. And then something extraordinary happened. Fishy Pants swam upward, jumped high up in the air, and landed with a splash back in his tank. Jaden was completely surprised. Did Fishy Pants actually understand? Or maybe he was just imagining things. If he really wanted to know, he'd have to try a different trick. He said, "Fishy Pants, roll!" Then he laid on the floor and rolled over. Fishy Pants looked at him, then slowly rolled through the water of his tank until he bumped to the other side. Jaden began to laugh. He laughed harder and harder until his parents came in to see what was so funny. When Jaden showed them the two tricks, his parents were astonished. What kind of fish could learn to do tricks? Over the next few days, Jaden taught Fishy Pants many new tricks. He taught him how to stick his fin out of the water to give him a high five, how to swim in fast circles to make a small tornado in the water, and his favorite, how to pick up a pebble from the bottom of his tank and throw it into a little hoop just like a basketball. Every time Fishy Pants did a good job, Jaden would feed him a little treat, dried up shrimp. Fishy Pants loved them, and sometimes he would splash Jaden in the face to tell him that he wanted more treats. Well, with all the extra shrimp treats he was eating, something began to happen to Fishy Pants. He began to grow and grow and grow. At first, he was the size of a golf ball. Then he became the size of a tennis ball, then a volleyball, and finally he got to be as big as a basketball. Jaden's parents had to keep making bigger fish tanks so that Fishy Pants had enough room to swim. By the time he was finished growing, his tank was almost as large as Jaden's wall and was filled with colorful rocks and plants and lights. It was really quite spectacular. And as he grew, his tricks grew more amazing. He could throw a real basketball in a real hoop. He could juggle bubbles. He could dance to music. Jaden spent all his free time thinking of new tricks and teaching them to Fishy Pants. People came from all over to watch Fishy Pants and his amazing tricks. Some people even wanted to buy Fishy Pants and put him in the circus. But Jaden said no thank you. He was happy where he was. Soon, It was almost Fishy Pants' first birthday. Jaden wanted to have a big party, so they built a tank for Fishy Pants outside where everyone could gather. They had a fish-shaped cake, a fish-shaped piñata, and a bunch of shiny silver balloons to match Fishy Pants' color. Everyone was having a great time celebrating when Jaden stood up on a chair next to Fishy Pants' tank. "Thanks everyone for coming," he said. As he said this, Fishy Pants waved at the audience with one of his fins and made everybody point and laugh. While they were laughing, Fishy Pants opened his mouth, closed his eyes, and wiggled around, making it look as if he was laughing too. This made everyone laugh harder. "Silly fish," said Jaden after the laughter died down a bit. "Well, Fishy Pants and I have been practicing a little performance for you all. Are you ready, Fishy Pants?" Fishy Pants nodded his head up and down, which made everyone laugh again. Jaden picked up a little guitar and began playing a song that his dad had helped him to write just for this birthday occasion. As he played his song, Fishy Pants performed in the water with a swishy, twirly dance. "There's more on the inside than what's on the outside. There's more on the inside than what's on the outside. Let's stop and use our hearts to see who others are. They may look like plain and gray little fishies, but they are valuable and loved and oh so pretty. Because there's more on the inside than what's on the outside. There's more on the inside than what's on the outside." Everyone clapped as the song ended, and they laughed when they saw that Fishy Pants was clapping too, and bowing for his own performance. As Jaden watched Fishy Pants bowing and being silly, he remembered how much he had wanted a dog not that long ago. He never knew that a regular old fish would make him the happiest pet owner in the world. Wow! I wish I could have gone to that birthday party and watched Fishy Pants dance.
Me too. I've never seen a fish dance before.
I don't think anyone has, Momo. Now, are you ready to play a guessing game?
Ooh, a guessing game? I love games.
Every time I tell a story, I'm going to be teaching you and the listeners about the virtues that were in the story.
Virtue? What's a virtue?
That's a good question. A virtue is anything that is good, such as love or patience or kindness. Virtues are kind of like little lights that shine in a story. Every time you hear a good story, you can find many of those lights or virtues in the story. So, did you see any virtues in the story of Fishy Pants?
Since you asked, no.
That's okay, Momo. It takes some practice to recognize them. In today's story, our main virtue was beauty on the inside. We saw in our story today that Jaden didn't choose Fishy Pants because he was the most beautiful fish. In fact, he was a very plain and gray fish. He chose him because he knew there was something different about him. You see, true beauty isn't only about what's on the outside, it's also about what's on the inside.
You mean like being nice and kind to people?
That's right, Momo. True beauty is more about who we are than how we look. Okay, I have one last thing for our listeners today before we go. It's question time. I'm going to ask 2 questions for our listeners to answer. If you can, you should ask your parents to talk about these questions with you. Question 1. What does it mean to have beauty on the inside? Question 2. Can you think of anyone you know who is beautiful on the inside? How do they make you feel? All right, Momo, it's time for us to go. I think someone's birthday party is starting soon.
Really? Who? Oh, it's me! It's me! It's my birthday party! Come on, let's go!
Thanks for listening to Lamplighter Podcast today. I hope you enjoyed the story of Fishy Pants and learning about what it is to have beauty on the inside. If you liked our story, please leave us a review. It really helps. You can also consider supporting this podcast on Patreon. Thanks again, and see you next time for another Lamplighter Podcast.